Hi, my name is Mary Camarillo, and I want to tell you about my new book, Those People Behind Us. This is my second novel. It releases on October 10th of 2023, and I'm thrilled to say that you can order it from Vroman's bookstore. Vroman's is one of my favorite stores, and I really appreciate them carrying my book on their shelf. Those People Behind Us is set in the summer of 2017, post-Trump and pre-pandemic, which makes it seem like historical fiction to me anyway. So many things have changed since 2017, and so many things have not changed. The story takes place in the fictional town of Wellington Beach, California, a suburban coastal town increasingly divided by politics, protest, and escalating housing prices. Wellington Beach is a fictionalized version of Huntington Beach, which is where I've lived for almost 30 years. Although Huntington has a very specific character, I believe the story and those people behind us could be set anywhere in the United States. This story developed during the pandemic when the gyms were closed. So for exercise, my husband and I walked our neighborhood and we made up stories. We heard someone pounding on a drum kit and we thought maybe it's a kid who wants to be a rock and roll star. One of our neighbors left all of their doors and windows wide open day and night, and we wondered why they were so careless. We were also curious about the flags our neighbors flew, what they thought about, and how they spent their days. We saw a lot of suburban wildlife, coyotes, possums, skunks, raccoons, and we noticed birds, herons, and hummingbirds. And we started paying more attention to the types of trees and plant life. So most of these ideas came together in those people behind us. There are 5 characters in the novel, and they are all searching for home and community in a neighborhood where no one can agree who belongs. These characters live in the Prestige Haven tract, which is based on my own neighborhood. Ray Murdoch is a Vietnam vet who's caring for his aging mother. He feels like he's the one who doesn't belong in a place where people's cars cost more money than he's ever earned in a year. Jeanette Larson is a new resident of the Prestige Haven tract. She's an aerobics teacher. Her and her husband, Bob, have suffered a tremendous tragedy, and her husband, Bob, thought that moving to a different neighborhood would be a fresh start for them. Jeanette isn't so sure about that, and she's really not sure about Bob's new friends. Josh Kowalski is 16 years old and lives on the same street as Ray and Jeanette. His father has recently walked out on him and his mom, so Josh is dealing with this abandonment by pounding in a drum set and setting things on fire. So your typical 16-year-old. Lisa Kensington is a real estate agent who lives in the tract, and it's also her territory. She is very much in the sandwich generation. She's juggling her job, her shopaholic husband, and a mother-in-law who knows how to push all of her buttons, plus 2 teenagers who have ideas of their own. Lisa is fully invested in making sure the property values in the Prestige Haven neighborhood continue to rise. She walks the streets daily, keeping her eye on lawns, dusty cars, trash cans that have been left out in the street too long. She writes and hand delivers a newsletter, which includes helpful household hints, information about upcoming garage sales, and discount offers on plumbing fixtures. Lisa is always polite and professional and careful not to say what she's really thinking, which is often quite cringeworthy. And then there's Keith Nelson. His parents live in this neighborhood, but they are estranged from Keith. Keith is living in his Honda Accord, and he frequently parks in the Prestige Haven tract. He's lonely. The neighborhood's familiar, it's relatively quiet, and he loves the trees. Keith gets solace from nature, but his tendencies towards violence, combined with his poor choice of friends, have landed him in trouble his entire life. He's 24 now, and he's trying to keep a tight lid on his emotions by following a strict workout routine. His anger is always there, though, just below the skin, ready to erupt. He's too muscular to fit comfortably in that Honda. He isn't comfortable anywhere. The novel starts from Keith's point of view, so I'll read a little bit from chapter 1. Keith Nelson. Keith watches a skunk family march down the middle of Summertime Lane. their eyes glowing zombie red in the streetlight. It's 5:20 a.m. and the battery on his cell phone is almost dead. He can smell himself, perspiration, pizza breath, and the gym socks and towel that never quite dried yesterday. No matter what, he's got to do laundry today and get some sleep tonight. He had to move his car from the library parking lot earlier when the police drove through, flashing blue lights at the parked cars and RVs, yelling into bullhorns that the lot was closed. Now he's only 2 blocks away from the house he grew up in. He imagines his parents, sound asleep, with no idea of all the wild things creeping around outside in the dark. Coyotes slinking down the sidewalk, sniffing the air for dog food and outdoor cats. Possums waddling toward sidewalk-splattered avocados. Tree rats chasing each other across electrical wires. 2 raccoons traversing the cinder block walls like gloved and masked thieves. 1 scrawny gray-striped cat hiding beneath the Gorman's oleander bush. Keith pees in an empty Gatorade bottle, opens the car door as silently as possible, and gets out. The blooms on the crepe myrtle trees up and down Summertime Lane catch the sun rising over Ensalada Mountain. He pours the urine out over the grass clippings in the Gorman's green yard waste container, then puts the empty Gatorade bottle in their blue recycling bin. Stretching his arms overhead, Keith hears his neck pop. He wishes he had an Advil. The crepe myrtle flowers are beautiful. Watermelon red, rose pink, deep lavender, fuchsia, and white, with a silver bark that glows in the sunrise. A small breeze picks up and the blossoms wave back and forth as if they're admiring each other. His dad would call him a pussy, but he loves these trees. The contrast of their crazy colors against the concrete sidewalks and driveways. And then the Gorman sprinklers go on and an icy jet of water shoots straight up his leg. Fuck, he whispers as he jumps across the meridian, trying to avoid getting his feet wet too. He gets in the car, grabs a stinky towel from the back seat, and does what he can. But it looks like he's pissed himself. There's another pair of shorts in the trunk that also stink because he's worked out in them twice this week, but it's too hard to change in the car. He has a key to his parents' house, but they'll be up soon, making coffee, getting ready for work. He imagines his father's granite slab of a face, his mother's disapproving smirk. Not so independent after all, she'd probably say. He checks his cell phone again. 5:43, he starts the car. He's the first one through the door at the Seaview gym, holding his gym bag over his crotch, so Cliff, the club manager at the front desk, can't see the wet spot. Your membership expires in July, Cliff says. You want to go ahead and take care of that now? That's 2 months away, Keith says. I'll catch you next time. He changes his shorts, stows his gym bag in a locker, then goes out to the workroom floor and does his weight routine twice. After he runs on the treadmill for 45 minutes, he heads back to the locker room where he shits, showers, and shaves. His chin in the bathroom mirror is the same as his dad's, square and solid. They used to have similar noses too, long with high bridges, but beer has pickled his dad's nose into something red and bulbous. Keith takes a blue button down off a dry cleaner hanger. He always wears blue because his grandmother says it complements his eyes. He looks tired. He never gets enough sleep. Most people guess he's older than 24. The traffic on the freeway is heavy, but he still gets to the office early, takes his usual spot in the last row of the parking lot behind the bright blue trucks with the bug guy printed in bold yellow. He parks in the back because he doesn't like the idea of people looking at his towel and gym clothes spread out in the back seat to dry. The Accord is otherwise spotless, washed weekly at the drive-through car wash, no trash on the floor, the rest of his belongings packed neatly out of sight in the trunk. The phone on his desk is already ringing. It's a great day at the bug guy, he says, as required in his job description. I'd like to share what teacher, author, and LA resident Lou Matthews, who wrote Shaky Town and LA Breakdown, said about those people behind us. He said this: the citizens of Wellington Beach, flawed, conflicted, mortal, reminded me of the citizens of another time and place, the characters of Sherwood Anderson's Winesburg, Ohio. Once you eliminate the modern conveniences, both sets of characters are equally bound together by time and place, and the loneliness that is at the center of so many American lives. These people are peculiarly American, particularly Californian, and you won't forget them because you will recognize them. They share your flaws, your sins, your secrets, your mortality. Another of my favorite authors, Pasadena resident Victoria Patterson, who wrote The Secret Habit of Sorrow and The Little Brother, said that she found herself unabashedly rooting for the characters in the Wellington community. I hope you'll root for them too. Those People Behind Us releases on October 10th. Thank you so much, Vromans, for giving me a chance to tell you about my book. I appreciate it.